Now, I want to delve more deeply into one of those names I mentioned, Chuck Grassley. Senator Chuck Grassley, a Republican from Iowa, is joining this growing list of Republicans who are saying, no, President Obama, you cannot nominate someone to replace right-wing Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia. It's the last year of your presidency. We need to wait. We've already debunked how that this makes absolutely no sense historically. But now I want to look specifically at the intellectual bankruptcy of someone like Chuck Grassley making this argument. Chuck Grassley is the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and he holds really a pretty big role in the confirmation process. And as the Judiciary Committee initiates the vetting process for nominees and they oversee all confirmation hearings, it's important to remember Chuck Grassley's past on this issue. Chuck Grassley said in a statement released just 2 days ago, the fact of the matter is that it's been standard practice over the last nearly 80 years that Supreme Court nominees are not nominated and confirmed during a presidential election year. Let's stop there. We've debunked that. I mean, that's just not true. We've seen 8 times during the 20th century that there were Supreme Court vacancies filled during a presidential election year. In 6 of those 8, the nominees were confirmed. In 1 of those 8, there really wasn't enough time and there was a temporary appointment made. And in another, there was a very unusual filibuster situation, a bipartisan filibuster of LBJ. So that is not true. Then Chuck Grassley goes on to say, given the huge divide in the country and the fact that this president, above all others, has made no bones about his goal to use the courts to circumvent Congress and push through his own agenda, it only makes sense that we defer to the American people who will elect a new president to select the next Supreme Court justice. Bogus. The American people have already voted. This is 2016. For 2017, the American people will vote on who next gets to select Supreme Court justices. The American people have already voted. I mean, Lewis, this is all completely undeniable. I mean, how can you argue against any of these facts? Chuck Grassley is just living in a fantasy world here.
Why can't we just let this country run and things operate the way they're supposed to operate? Why can't we do that?
We just can't do it because of people like Chuck Grassley. Now, here's the real double standard of the Chuck Grassley. Chuck Grassley, during a 2008 Senate Republican conference hearing about, quote, removing politics from the judicial confirmation process, said he was displeased with what he called, quote, unjustified slowness of the confirmation process because he felt Democrats were holding up George W. Bush's Supreme Court nominees for partisan reasons. This guy is so transparently one-sided and hypocritical here. The guy who said Democrats shouldn't slow down the nomination process for Bush nominees in 2008, mind you, the last year of Bush's presidency, is now saying, hey, we've got to wait for the next president before we nominate anybody here. This guy is a total joke. I mean, he's a despicable joke.
Yes, any Republican in Congress in his position would do the same thing. It's like a gang. The Democrats, too. It's basically a gang, and this is gang politics.
The online news world is getting pretty cluttered with lots of nonsense. There's the so-called news sites that rewrite news articles, and then there's the websites we all know that we just can't trust. So lately, I've been reading SmashPipe, which is an online magazine whose goal is to surprise, amuse, and tell readers things they don't already know on a wide range of topics in current events and culture. SmashPipe is less interested in trending topics than in what's actually going on, and SmashPipe has no ads whatsoever other than the reader-generated classified ad section, and they never will. SmashPipe is what happens when you, on a bad day, stub your toe on the miseries and mysteries of life. Check it out at